Guys, welcome to Core Academy. Guys, this is a very important concept in gender studies, and that is the concept of autonomy and integration. Okay, what do we mean by this? Well, proponents of the autonomy of gender studies emphasize that gender studies should be an autonomous subject on its own, without any dependence on other curriculum. So basically, those who in favor of the autonomy debate, they actually emphasize that gender studies should be an autonomous subject on its own, with its own curriculum. So essentially, what they're saying is that gender studies should be taught as a separate subject in schools and in universities, so that people get to know about what are the issues, what are the gender related issues, what are gender imbalances, and what are the underlying causes of gender imbalances. Of course, they have their own methodology. They have their own reasons for this. But let's first talk about integration approach, and then we will see the pros and cons of each. So, those in favor of the integration debate, they basically posit that integration of gender studies should be, in a sense, that existing curriculum, faculty, administration be used to advance the goals of gender studies. So what they're saying is that the gender studies should not be taught in silos. I mean, you cannot force everybody to take gender studies as a subject, as in curriculum. What you can do is that you can tweak the existing curriculum. You can incorporate, everything from a gendered point of view. Okay, you can look at history, and you can look at philosophy and economics through the lens of genders. For example, if you're talking about economic inequalities, then you can also of course, you talk about economic inequalities from the point of view of haves and haves not, rich and poor. But what about looking at economics in terms of how much of the world population is poor, and how much of the women out of that population are poor? Of course, the percentage of women is much higher. So that is what integration folks say. Okay, they say that existing curriculum should be amended and tweaked so that gender point of view is there in everything. And similarly, faculty, they should be sensitized about teaching from this method using this lens of gender. Then administration, of course, it should be changed, like changed and tweaked in a way that women are also part of the administration. If women are part of the administration, then there will be more well versed in the problems which women face, and of course then they will be able to tweak these organizational structures accordingly. So integration folks say that gender studies should be should be basically absorbed into every course and curriculum to advance the goals of gender studies. Personally, I believe is that integrating gender studies is a more practical, because it will take less resources. I mean, you just have to tweak existing structure. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Plus, everybody studies a generic curriculum, and all you have to do is that you just have to incorporate gender perspective. Whereas and those in favor of autonomy in debate, well, you cannot force everybody to study gender studies, especially at the university level. So I guess most of these theorists on gender studies, they actually are basically subconsciously talking about integration in gender studies. For example, when you talk about women in development and gender and development, they're not talking about separate subjects and living in silos. Probably the only theorist school of thought is a radical feminist who talk about operating in silos, that women should form women only communities and all those things. But I believe, if you genuinely want to solve the problems of women, then autonomy is not the right way to go. Integration is the only way to go, because you cannot reinvent the wheel. The existing superstructure, you have to stay within it and work within it. But of course, you can have your own point of views. But since the concept is clear now, you can form your own accumulated and well-versed judgments. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe for more videos.